Hi, I'm Blair,
And I'm Ellie, and we're the Citrus Club.
where we discuss what to do when life gives you lemons, oranges, or limes. What are we talking about today, Ellie?
Well, since you asked, we'll be talking about finding and sustaining friendships. Ooh. Some of us
A
struggle
deep
more than others.
topic.
A very deep topic.
Oh,
I'm calling myself out with that one.
girl.
Sounds
We're
like
learning. We're going to learn together.
finding and sustaining friendships. And we will be doing activities while we do it. What are we doing, Blair, today?
Doing our makeup. So, listeners, viewers, if you're watching on TikTok or YouTube, come on, hang out with us, join the Citrus Club, and do your makeup too.
And right now, if you can see me, I will. If you can't see me, I will describe it. But if you can see me, you'll see that I have Nike Just Do It eyebrows currently, because it's all I got to before we started filming. So, yeah, if Nike would like to sponsor us, we wouldn't complain.
Sponsored by Nike. Shown in Ellie's eyebrows. You know what? I'm just lucky when people can see my eyebrows. Mine are not here right now, but they will
I think
be in
that's
just a
where it
second.
started. I didn't have eyebrows for the longest time. Like I had very
Hmm.
blonde eyebrows, and so I was like. And then I discovered an eye pencil, and I was like, "Oh my god, 90-degree angles." I made the square root of who.
They're gonna see it
So,
today. They're gonna see my eyebrows today.
oh yeah. But anyways,
Finding and sustaining friendships. It can definitely be scary, I think.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is finding and sustaining friendships through different transitions of life
Mm-hmm.
as well, because it's easy to be friends with people that you see every day, all the time, but actually keeping that friendship and like watering it, so to say, after you're not necessarily in similar circumstances all the time, makes it a lot harder, but also like causes a lot more doubts because like you're not, oh, like is this person only my friend because I see them every day at school, or is this person only my friend because we do soccer together? If we stop doing X, Y, and Z, are we gonna trail off being friends? I think when you're younger, I feel like friendships are more like candy, like sugar coated. Whereas when you
Yeah.
get older, they kind of need to not be. And a lot of people, including myself, have lost a lot of friends in that process of being like, hey, like I've been your friend for XYZ years, and I'm close enough to you, and I care enough about you to tell you to get your crap together. And then people don't like hearing that because they're not used to friends
Mm-hmm.
telling them the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and then friendships
And that's a
go
real
away. And I
friend.
think
If
that's
you're
like
going to be
something.
a real friend, then that's you have to be
Exactly.
honest.
I think people, like, everyone's so used to having fake friends. And I'm like, I've always been a ride, die hard friend.
Yeah.
If we're friends, I'm going to be your friend. And to me, being your friend is, okay, hey, I think you seem very unhappy in XYZ. Or like, hey, like, you're kind of acting out of character. Is everything all right? You know what I mean? Like, friends should be doing that. They shouldn't just only being there for your highs and not your lows too, or at least
Yeah.
helping you recognize when you're in a high or a low.
Hmm. And I think that comes a lot to realizing that sometimes friendships do just come and go. Sometimes you do just grow up, and it's nothing wrong with either person. It's just you're growing up, especially leaving high school. You're learning that you have different interests. You might just have different circumstances now. So sometimes it's not on you if a friendship
Mhm.
just grows apart. It's just how kind of people grow up and
Yeah.
live.
And there's also a lot of people that, if you notice, like that transition periods, like something's changing in your life, and sometimes people don't like to see you get to a place further than them when you guys started out at the same place. There are a lot of people like that where, as soon as, like, say you're getting successful, or, you're in a relationship and you're, you know, something big is happening in your life that is a big drastic change from where you met that person, like at that point in your life. And a lot of times people will get jealous, or they'll jealous. Nope, jealous. Thank you. Um,
You
and
found it. You
I
got it.
don't
I
really
knew
want
what you
to
meant. That's the main thing. It's noticing that when people aren't treating you right, you have the right to move on and end the friendship. You can't just
hmm
think, oh, well, this
You
might be
don't
my
owe
only
someone
friend.
anything.
Yeah, you don't owe someone anything. You can continue to find new friendships that actually work for you because there are people out there who will be honest with you, who will be a good friend, and you just have
hmm
to open yourselves up to finding them.
hmm
So, how do we find these friends, Ellie?
Well, as someone that's still learning that myself, um,
Same.
I I would honestly, I think it depends because we are just in that transition period of out of college, which means that the only time we're going to be in an environment to easily make friends would be work. Or if our partners have friends that they think would be friends with us, kind of thing.
Hmm.
I think for me, it's more of seeking out hobbies that I want to get into and trying to like mingle my way into friendships that way. As a hobby, I've always this is more of like an inner child thing. I've always wanted to get into archery.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah,
good
just
one.
for fun. Like I used to be I'm really good at throwing knives. That's like a totally different topic. But I've always wanted to get into archery, even as a kid. And so I was like, I'm an adult. I'm gonna eventually have adult money. And that's a hobby that I would like to like take up because I haven't really had time for hobbies. I feel like that would be a good way for me to like be like, hey, hard to hit the target, huh? You want to be
just here at the
friends
just here at the archer range. What you doing,
at the range?
sir?
Like as a kid, it was like, I like chocolate. You like chocolate? Want to be friends? Okay.
Want to be
Whereas now
besties?
it's like,
Okay.
do you want to be my friend? It's okay if you don't want.
Please, I'm
To.
begging you. That's what I've noticed is different. Going from North Carolina to New York City is so interesting that it's easier to commute to.
Yeah.
I've my whole side of TikTok is just like free events that women could
Yeah.
go to make more friends. That I
That's
just found
cute.
something. It's called like Walk NYC, Women Walk NYC, and
Yeah.
it's where just a group of girls and women meet up on I think Sundays, and they just go for a little walk, just for a little hot girl walk, and they make
That's
friends.
cute.
Yeah,
That's really cute. I think as old lady as it sounds, Facebook is a really good place to make friends. Like
yeah.
going to groups that are in your area. Like my mom and my grandma, like in their area of North Carolina, they have like a women's of blah 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 blah, because I don't want to say where they're from.
Hmm.
And like they have events, they go out for coffee or like they go and do like a book club or like, and that's how they make friends in that area. And I'm like, that is such a like a common ground thing for me to be like, okay, like we have similar humor. Oh, well, do you like XYZ? Or oh, do you like this TV show? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like a having something to bring people in will help gauge like if you have similarities.
It's almost also a way of finding that confidence
Mm-hmm.
because at least in high school and college you're able to do things with people of similar interest. In college it was all theater fine arts people,
Mm-hmm.
so you're
Yeah.
having that confidence of, oh, at least I know these people are going into the same industry as I am, so it'd be nice to be friends with them. And then once you
Yeah.
graduate it's harder, depending on where you are, it's harder to find those similarities as easily.
Yeah. For sure.
Facebook does well, even just like reaching out to mutuals that you have on social media. Like if you
Yeah.
slide up on someone's story being like, "Oh, this is so cool, this is so fun." Like that is a genuine way to make friends and just looking good, Ellie.
Thank you.
Looking good.
Thank you. I'm slaying your game.
Yes, you are. That's such an easy way to just be like, "Hey, I think that you're pretty cool and I like what you post. Maybe we could talk more." Or
Yeah.
I love a book club. I want to join a book club so bad.
Dude, I want to join a book club so bad, but then I'm like, I need money to get the books.
Yeah. Yeah, like can we just do like
Free books,
free
you know
books,
those
please?
series that will always have like the first book free. Like we just read the first book in every series.
Exactly. We're like, we'll see if it's good. We'll see. And that's that what I've
Oh,
realized is so nice about kind of what came after COVID is that more people are able to realize that you can make friends online just as
yeah,
easily as you can in your town. Like me and you are here doing a podcast and we're
yeah,
12 hours apart.
that's crazy.
I know. I think that there's something so cool about that too. So you don't have to be just confined to the set people that you're around. You can reach out to other people and find friends online as well.
Oh yeah, like during COVID, I have this one friend, and I'll name her. Her name's Kylie, and we met literally through TikTok. And as bad as it sounds, you know those like pranks where it's like either seeing if
Yeah.
they cheat on you or like see if like they miss you or something like that. She had commented on because I had posted like who would do mine like, and she commented she's like, "Girl, I'll do it right now," and she DM'd me that, and so she literally did it just because we were like, "Oh, like for real?" Like, okay. And she did it, and then we started talking, and dude, we like FaceTime for hours, and like that was like probably one of the easiest, fastest ways I made a friend. Was just quickly
Aw.
here
See,
little
that's
ASMR.
precious.
Sorry guys, it's my makeup
Love it.
wipes.
Love it. And that's part of the reason why I feel like it's kind of scary to make friends because you have to put yourself out there in that way. But it is just
Mhm.
remembering that there are also other people looking for friends. There really are. It's not just
Everybody's living
you.
this life the same. Like everybody's living this life for the first time, and everybody doesn't know what they're doing. Newsflash: nobody knows what they're doing. So don't be scared. Like the worst that's gonna happen is you guys are gonna like fizzle out if you guys don't have a lot in common or you guys both don't put effort into keeping the friendship, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have some friends that are more low maintenance than other friends, which is totally fine. Like I have a childhood best friend who we've been friends since we were 7, and I do put blame on myself for this because life gets busy and I'm the worst texter in the entire world. I know that she knows that like if I don't respond, I'm just busy, or like if she can't get back to me, she's busy. Like that girl, she does a lot. She's gonna be an important person one day. I know for sure. Her
I've
name's
got a lot
Becky.
of friends that we've gotten into like a really good rhythm. And, we got people that I know I can text and be like, hey, I need your help right now. And they would respond immediately. And those are my good friends that, yeah, you don't have to necessarily talk every single day, but you know that they're going to be there if you need them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think some of my best friendships are just those that I know I trust them 100%. And if they need me, they
Mhm.
can text. And if I need them, I text.
Yeah.
It's not a, you have to talk to me every single day, but it's, if I wanted to, I could, And I think that
Hmm.
is really nice about just friendships that are built off of trust and being like, you
Yeah.
can be how you are and I'll be how I am and we're going to get along just well.
That and like, there's also such an expectation, like, and I think I bring this up only because I'm that kind of person that has his expectation, and I've had to learn how to like lower my expectations in a way of like you see people on the internet like on TikTok or whatever, and they're like, you know that trending song that's like, oh my girls, they've got me. Have you know what I'm talking about? And I was like, I don't
I
have
know that one is from Friends.
yeah, I'm like, I don't have a group of girls where like you see this TikTokers like, oh, here's my whole like bridal party, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, I have probably a handful of friends that I would be like, yeah, come to my wedding. You know what I mean? And so it puts this
Hmm.
kind of like, it is that comparison is the thief of joy kind of thing in a way where it's like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong where I don't have, these girls that are, diehard, friends. And I think it just like I don't know. I don't know if that's like just a me thing or if there's other viewers that necessarily like relate. But it's depressing. It makes you feel like you're just not a girly girl or like you're not
Hmm.
like one of the
Well,
girls, you know?
it's just like what we talked about last week too, where social media is a whole different thing, and
Yeah,
it's
that's so true.
they're it's a bridal party. It's where they're able to get together, bring everyone that they know, for a few days and make this perfect looking content, but I bet in everyday life they're not hanging out
Yeah.
in that way, you know?
Yeah. I don't
Because
know,
I
man.
do feel like,
I've always been the type of person that like I think as a friend, I've had a lot of traumatic friendships that didn't end well or didn't end well considering how good of a friendship it was, if that makes sense. And
hmm
so there's also that like fear and trauma of like I'm the problem or like um I sometimes I feel like I'm a better friend to some of my friends than they are to me.
hmm
Does that make sense? Like I've had some friends in the past that I'm no longer friends with, especially in this example where like I would do anything for them. I would like I have gone on flights just to see them like when they're having a rough time. I've like surprised them for their birthdays. Like I've done huge things and then I could get minimal effort back. And it's not about
yeah.
like a comparison of like, oh, well, I did this, you should do this for me, or like I have expectations of that. But it's just like that sad realization of like what I would do for a friend. I don't have friends that necessarily that would do the same for me. So it makes you feel like, oh, do I need to dial it back? Like, are they gonna like, you know, take advantage of it, or are they gonna, like? There's so much that goes through your mind when you
Mhm.
have that kind of
Well, it just
thought.
comes back, for me, it comes back to thinking, what type of friend do I want to be? And then how
Hmm.
do I want to be treated in return? It's the thing of where you cannot feel guilty for letting someone go if they're not being a good friend to you. And it sucks. It's just human nature to be like, oh, it's probably my fault. But in the end, it's not. Sometimes it's just two completely different people with maybe two different love languages. Sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
it comes to that a lot for me, and like expressing that, hey, this is my love language. This is how I feel loved. Because I do believe that in a friendship, you are using your love language just as much in
That's
a
true.
relationship. So
That's
for
true.
me, I tell a lot of my friends, like, hey, this is my love language. And if you don't mind, like, I love gift giving, I love acts of service. If that's okay,
Mm.
like, that's how I like to show my love. And that amounts to me like being like, let me buy your food. I had to fight someone, my friend, one time, being like, let me buy you this food because this is me being your friend. This is all I'm asking for. It's
Aw.
a gift from me. Please let me do it. And you'd think it wouldn't be that hard to convince a college student to let you buy their food, but it's little things like that.
That was
It's
funny.
like, girl, you can tell how different my makeup routine is. Nothing. I'm already done.
You already done? I normally I'm a lot quicker, but trying to talk at the same time is like difficult. I'm
See, for me,
trying.
no, you keep going. We got time. But yes, my main thing for making friends, finding friends, is being upfront and be the person that you need. So that's showing up for yourself. If you want a friend that did parties and did little get togethers, you can do that. You are allowed to do that. And as soon as you start doing that, then that might inspire your other friends to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's even just reaching out to people when you think of them. Like, I have a really close friend, and she told me this advice because I told her, I was like, yeah, sometimes it's just hard for me to keep in contact. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm bothering people by texting them. And
Yeah.
she told me, she said, well, then just text them when you think about them. Just saying little
That's
like, hey, thought of you today. Like, I saw a really good coffee shop and I thought of you. I think you'd like it. Hope you're doing well. Little things like that keep you in contact and let the other person know that you are also thinking about them and that you also care about them and that you think about them from
yeah.
time to time. I
I
think that
like
there's
that.
something special about that.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you for the viewers' sake, and also maybe my own. How would you suggest going about having that conversation, especially about love languages in a friendship manner versus a relationship? Because, in a relationship, you kind of bring it up at some point, whereas friendship is kind of like, okay, here are my love language, and they're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't think of you like that.
Sometimes, yeah. You know how you, like, you give your friends advice on finding
Yeah.
relationships, finding things like that. So sometimes it'll just come up naturally and you kind of
Mhm.
bring it to their attention being like, "Oh, it seems like this might be your love language, is it?" That's what I like to do. I like to be like, oh, it looks like Ellie, you really like to cook. Is that one of your love languages, like acts of service? Does that make you feel like you're showing other people that they're loved? And then in how you respond to that would be I'd start the conversation from there.
Yeah. Oh my God, she got coffee. Did you get coffee
I
or is it cold?
do. I did.
Get
Matt brought it in
bread.
while you
Is
were
it
doing
good
your
this time?
base.
Oh, that's so funny. Did you get
But
bread?
I did get bread. I don't have it in here, but it's the nice. And she cuts it for you. She cuts it for you.
Oh, sliced
So
bread.
it's sliced homemade bread. You cannot beat that in the Bronx, bro.
Bro, I
But
want to
anyway,
start a sourdough. Sorry, that's totally off
you
topic,
should.
but how do you go about putting yourself back out there when you've had a bad experience? Because I don't know if you want to talk about it, but we've both, I'd say, within the year had a friendship that completely threw us off course and didn't end the best. And kind of like having to deal with that and navigate that because that was hard for me. Like, it's easy to go out of your way to try to make friendships when you haven't had a bad experience, but it is really difficult, especially because it's more of a self confidence thing of like,
Hmm.
not necessarily you as yourself, but your self confidence as a friend. Like, how to go about navigating that because that's so difficult. Like, I had lost someone that I had thought was going to be like the godparent of my child, kind of thing. And so that just like totally blew me off my feet. I was like, I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't even know how to navigate being friends with you, dude. You and I started like talking and being like hanging out more often, and I was like, oh my god, like they hate
Yeah.
me. I literally
It's like,
thought
what
like
do I
all
do? What
like
do
I
I
still
do?
think to this day, I'm like all my friends aren't my friends. They just were my friend because of like association. Does that make sense? So
And
it's
that's a
like,
lie.
well, thank you. My brain needed to hear that, but it's just
Hmm.
like it's so like that's even like relationships. Like after something bad happens in a relationship, you're like kind of scared to get back out there. You're like, I'm not ready for that. I need to figure it myself out first. So it's like when it comes to friendships, you're like, well, how do I
Hmm.
know? Am I making the right decision? Is this person actually the way that they say that they are? You know?
A lot of things do come back to the self love of it all. And it's really important to acknowledge that either A, you didn't deserve it, or B, your
You're
own
gonna make me cry.
part in a reason that don't cry, you're putting on your
I know. I was like, you're
lashes.
gonna make me cry.
I think it's
Oh,
admitting if you had something to do with the friendship ending or admitting if you did not. It's finding that self-acceptance that these things do happen. We're only 22, 23. We're still learning. There are still going to be so many people that come. Why are you making that face for?
I can't tell if it's on or off.
There are so many people that are still coming in and out of our lives, and yes, they may be acquaintances, they may be good friends, we may never talk to some people ever again. But
Yeah.
it's taking everything with a little bit of salt and acknowledging, like, okay, I did my best with the knowledge that I had at that moment. Like, there are a lot of
Yeah.
things and friendships that I wish could have been different. But at the time, I was a young kid still learning to love myself. So, how can
Mhm.
I foster a good friendship if I don't have that for me, you know? Love yourself before you can love other people. And most of the time, you
Yeah.
do love your friends. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just feels like a full cycle kind of thing that you're always having to constantly reevaluate what's happening in your brain and your noggin, and then making sure that you are finding people around you that either cultivate a spirit of happiness and acceptance, or
Yeah.
you're moving on.
Yeah.
You just have to move on. If people aren't putting in the effort, then it's hard to stay friends. I do believe that friendships take effort. Everything takes even just a little bit of effort, even just a text, just something,
Hmm.
just the, hey, I'm thinking about you today,
Yeah.
or trying to hang out. Like, I have some great just childhood friends that every time I go home I text them and like, yo, I'm home for a week, Are you in
Yeah.
town? Can we sometimes, most of the time, our schedules are completely different, but if we can meet up, we normally meet up. And that's how I know it's a friendship that's going to last. That's another thing. That's why we're starting, like with the Citrus Club, we're hoping to build a community of just people who support each other. And so if you want to follow along, we're going to start doing crafts every episode. And this is a way just for us personally to find new hobbies and to do more fun stuff together. And if you at
Mhm.
home want to follow along, go ahead,
Join us.
post it, tag us, join us. This is just a fun little thing. Eat your dinner, bring your snacks. Hey, you okay?
I couldn't find my
Hang
mascara.
out with.
I was like, where's my
I'm trying
mascara?
to have like a heart to heart. I'm trying to have a heart to heart right now. And
So sorry. I didn't pick up on sorry, I got some like window wipers on my face right now and I was trying to
it's
adjust.
okay. For all of our listeners, Ellie's got her eyelashes stuck on her eyelid, and I think she's trying to use more glue to either get it off or stick it right, but I don't know if it's actually working. So we've talked about ways to try and find friends. I think some other ways to do it, especially if you're younger and I don't know actually. This is for any age. But if, again, we're some theater nerds here. So I am a big proponent of like community theater is such a good way to make friends and find friends because in my experience it's people of all ages. There's like children's community theater and then there's adult community theater and you can do that whenever you want. You don't have to be an actor, you don't have to be really great at it. You just have fun with it. And I
To
think that there's
want
a
to have
bunch of
fun.
opportunities like that in the community. I think there's like I've never done it, but sports and stuff like that, you can make friends, you can find it's finding people with interests similar to you. But don't be afraid. Put yourself out there and the right opportunity, the right people will come.
That and just like having a strong sense of self will also attract friends, I feel like.
Hmm.
Because the people will gravitate to other people that they feel are stable.
Hmm.
Like you may not think you are, but you come across and you portray yourself as a very put together stable person, and I feel like that is part of what a lot of people navigate towards you because of that, because they're like you're kind of like the buoy in the ocean that like nobody's seen land for months and all of a sudden they're like civilization, like you're like that shining beacon for a lot of people.
Ellie,
It's true though, and like
stop.
as much as you may feel like you might be like I'm falling apart or like I'm a mess, like you still have such an appearance that people are like being friends with this person is going to somehow also elevate me and our dynamic. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, and I feel like especially growing up, because that's why so many friendships fizzle out, is like there's a stronger personality and a less strong personality and they often clash. But when you grow up, you tend to gravitate towards the people with those stronger personalities because like them having a sense of self make you be like, oh, everything that they stand for, I stand for too. So we have similarities. I want to be friends with someone like that because it'll elevate me. It's not going to put me down. It's not going to make me feel
Yes.
smaller than I am.
When I talk to you, it's like everything just makes sense. It's like everything is like there are no wrinkles in my brain. I can just be
Oh,
smooth brain and
smooth
I just
brain.
listen to Ellie and I'm like everything I hear is right and I feel safe. Like that's how I'm just like you see me on
I'm
this
gonna start.
podcast, I'm just like sponge. I'm
I'm just
just
gonna start
smooth
spewing out
brain.
shit that's not true. I'm like, yeah, did you know? You're gonna be like, yeah,
I
absolutely.
knew it. I knew
Always
it.
right.
And like and then I'm like,
That's
well,
so
Ellie
funny.
said this, so it's correct. Ellie told me.
Gotta be true.
I
That's like when you believe what your mama and dad say over like other people. You're like, well, my mama's. You know what I mean? Like, well, my mama said that that's not correct.
yeah.
See that,
Thank you,
guys?
ASMR. Thank you.
That's my stay all night.
Here,
Oh, this is
wait. Let
so
me mute it so
random.
when you
I
spray
was
it, you can
obsessed.
hear it good.
Oh, really? Did you hear that? Slay. Love that. Totally random though. This is like so. I love this brand, Elf, okay? But this was like way back in the day, like 2014, all right? Nobody knew what this brand was. Like, I swear to you, everything
Elf.
was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, like, I use Elf. They're like, oh my god, like, how do you have so much makeup for so cheap? And I was like, oh my god, Elf. And then they
Mm-hmm.
blew up out of nowhere,
Me
and all
with
their stuff isn't
Maybelline.
cheap anymore. Yeah, and then all
Maybe
their
it's
stuff isn't cheap anymore.
Maybelline.
And I'm like,
No.
brother,
TikTok killed it.
I used to be able to get like something for $3, $6 at the most. This used to be 6, and now it's 12.
Is that your completed look?
Yes.
This is fine.
We did it.
We did it. And to recap, I can't even remember all that we talked about.
Having a strong sense of individuality will help you navigate friendships and which ones you're meant to be in for long term, and friendships that may fizzle out and that it's not necessarily your fault. Sometimes it's just life. But also having the recognition that if you were at fault for something will help you navigate a future friendship and help you
Mm-hmm.
get past some of that unweariness, because you know where you went wrong, so you'll be able to correct it for something in the future.
Exactly. Make the effort, put yourself out there. It's scary, but in the end, it is worth it. You will find people of similar values, you'll find people that you really connect with, and it will make life so much easier if you just have that confidence in yourself and let yourself. Sometimes I think that we even just hold ourselves back because we're afraid, but
Hmm.
I don't even know. I have no other advice for that other than you gotta just rip the band aid off.
Yeah. That, and just we talked about like there's so many opportunities on Facebook, there's so many opportunities on social media, like people that meet up, like
Hmm.
put yourself out there, go to one and just try to talk to. I mean, it's a really easy way to navigate trying to introduce friendships is by complimenting someone. If you're
Hmm.
going to those events and you see someone that has something similar to you, or maybe they're wearing a shirt from your favorite band or TV show, and you go up to them and be like, oh my god, I love your shirt. Like, I love so and so too. What's your favorite episode? Or what's your favorite character? That is a segue into a conversation that will lead to a friendship. And if they are cold and they don't seem like they want to be your friend, then that's not someone you want to associate with because they didn't also put out the same energy.
Yeah. That's really great advice. Yeah, do that.
There we go.
Fantastic. You should start a podcast.
Oh my god. Really? You think so? You think anybody would listen? If you see this episode when it comes out and you like the episode, you should comment a kiwi on all of our social media. And we
Is
may or
there a
may
kiwi?
not. There better be a kiwi emoji. There is a kiwi emoji. Thank you very much.
My bad, my bad, my bad.
So yeah,
I've never used it.
freaking kiwi emoji, not the bird, the fruit. Next
Thanks for
episode.
joining us. Be sure to follow our socials, our Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on the podcast so that you never miss an episode.
You see fruit, it's probably us.
Yeah. Thanks for joining the Citrus Club. I've been Blair.
You've been Blair, and I've been Ellie. And
And
if
we'll
you want to
see you
join us
next week.
next week, we're going to be talking about how you're not as behind as you think you are. So,
Solid advice, I think.
I think so. But that's the
Bye.
Bye. We'll see ya.